G'day everybody, Farmer Way here for Billboard Battalion. We're here today speaking with One Nation Senator Malcolm Roberts, a bloke who we've had a fair bit to do with.
We've had some long conversations, mate.
We have.
But they've been good.
Yes.
And I want to compliment you for the topics you're tackling, because very few people do.
No, well, thank you, Malcolm, and same. I mean, One Nation. You know, we've spoken about a lot of things we have in common. Particularly fighting for farmers.
Yep.
That's one of our primary things. That's what I've been about forever.
But you're actually fighting for all Australians.
You bet. Yes. With what we do with Billboard Battalion, we do the big picture stuff, and that affects everyone in this country. Mm-hmm. All of the policies, all the stuff that affects farmers affects food.
It affects most people around the world.
Yes.
Because what they're after is they've got two aims: a global, unelected, socialist global governance that is basically involved in controlling people and transferring wealth. And
in the last 2 decades, we have seen government policies that have made the enormous transfers of wealth from family farmers, the backbone of the nation, has pressured them, has pushed them out of business, it's sent them broke, it's made it so hard for them to survive. And what's happened is their farmland and water and other values have ended up in the hands of the multinational corporates.
And it's bad for the environment, because what's happening is that when family farmers know that their property is going to be passed on to their kids, their children, or they're going to use it for superannuation and sell up and go to the coast or wherever they want to go to, or they're going to stay there and make productive use of it. All of those reasons mean you have to protect the environment around the family farm. And the family farmers know that, and they do a bloody good job. Corporates don't.
Oh.
So this is bad for the environment, it's bad for rural communities, it's bad for our food production, the quality of our food, it's bad for the whole of society, bad for the whole country.
And you know, the collapse of communities around agriculture when family farmers are destroyed,
yep.
It's horrendous. You know, you're looking at your local sporting teams, your fire brigades, your community organised, everything, the whole thing suffers. So I mean, and that's one of the reasons why we're here today in Canberra, because we're trying to do as many interviews with politicians as we can. Our main focus at the minute is the international health regulations and the One Health policies, and we're just trying to get politicians' opinion of what that means. We're saying it's a catastrophic disaster for our country. So we want to engage the population in these discussions. Because so much happens with politics, people don't take any notice of it.
There's a lot of lies told in this building.
I've been doing this for a long time. My first visit to Parliament House here was in 1997, talking with the acting Prime Minister at the time, Tim Fisher, over what was happening with Australia's gun laws. And so, you want to know about lies, I cut my teeth on that stuff, and those politicians, they couldn't lie straight in bed, let alone actually tell the truth.
It's both major parties. There's so little difference in their policies now.
Well, now we're here to try and say, right, let's talk to individual politicians so that the public who might look at me and say, oh, you're just a bloke from the bush, what do you know, you're just stupid, you're only just a farmer, whatever. To hear from the actual people in the chambers, the people who are making the laws of the country, to hear what they've got to say.
I bet you're shitting yourself now. These people are making laws of the country.
I know. It's why do you think we've virtually written off our lives to do this and to pursue this all over Australia. We, as people know, we present all over Australia, and we're called by many communities. Can you come to Western Australia or Queensland or Vic or New South, whatever, South Australia? Because we want to know the truth, and no one else tells the truth but Billboard Battalion. We just shoot straight. There's no mucking around. This is the deal.
Well, I've had experience doing what you're doing, Wade, because from 2007, late 2007 until 2016, when I got in the Senate, I worked as a volunteer going around the country exposing the climate scam, the climate fraud. And then I got in the Senate and continued to put in the Senate. So I know what you mean. And it's a really important role because people are asleep.
They are, people have said to me, someone's asleep at the wheel. I say, mate, they're comatose at the wheel. I mean, so, and the average Aussie doesn't care about politics. They'll sit there and go, oh, why is the cost of living so high? Why are our farmers being wiped out? How come this and this? Well, it's because of politics and the fact that you people, the people of Australia, are not taking any interest in it.
The top echelon of our constitution and our governance system is the citizen.
Yes.
The people of Australia.
Yes.
And what they've done is the politicians over the years have reversed that. So the people now serve the government. There should be the government serving the people, and the people have stopped holding governments accountable, and that's partly because the politicians have told lies and reversed the roles, but also the media.
Yes.
Everyone looks up to Canberra.
Yes.
It should be the other way around. You know, they'll say, some people will say to me, all those bastard politicians are liars. And then they say, what's your opinion on this, mate? It's insane. But what we've got to do is wake up the people so that they do their job, because, and I say we the people, because you and I, while we're doing our voluntary work, prior to doing that, we were asleep too. But we've seen certain things that now wake us up. And so we've got to stir the people peacefully, but get them to realise they're getting screwed.
And look, peacefully and democratically, that's how it must be done. And you know, they've spent I'll say the enemies of our country, our politicians or governments that we've had, they've been very, very carefully giving people the sleeping pills.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just slowly over time. Then the media came on board. The media that used to be is no longer the thing. You can't get news.
Well, you're now the media.
Sorry?
You're now the media.
Well, we're giving it our best shot, Malcolm, and thank you.
But that's important. We've got the independent, truth-seeking, freedom-pushing people's media. That's the people's media. We've got the anti-social media, which is, some people call social media, but it's anti-social.
Yeah.
And then we've got the mouthpiece media, the globalist media, the Big Brother media, the control freak media.
All of them.
Which is the mainstream.
Yes, it is. Yes, and you know, like people say, oh, I saw in the news or the paper or something. Mate, don't even read that. Or don't look at it for sure to get an idea of what issues are about. But you know, understand they're there to lie to you. They are not
control.
Yeah, exactly right. So I'd just like to, and I'd like to say thanks for meeting us. You know, we'd like to talk to.
I've always enjoyed my conversation with you,
and that's terrific. And same. I'd like to, you know, be able to interview Pauline before we leave here, and also, you know, the other two senators. And congratulations.
Are you on a pass that gives you free reign?
We do what we want.
No, you can walk around by yourself.
Not probably supposed to. I don't know. Who knows? We don't bother asking. So, but anyway, we'll see who we bump into. Put it that way. We've run into a few of them. We've run into a few politicians in Parliament since we've been here the last couple of weeks, and had a chat to them. I think some of them have seen us and almost had a stroke and died on the spot. Because what are you people doing here? You know, because we've given them a bit of pressure. Oh yeah, we've given them a hard time in the past. And you bump into them into face to face, which is why we're here, because all the politicians are here. That's why we've come to Canberra. We can't chase them all over Australia, but we could come here, and so many of them, you know, they turn around the corner and they look straight in face to face, and they have a collective connection fit. And you say, look, would you be interested in doing interviews? Oh yes, call my office, and then the office, I don't think they've got the memo. Yeah, no way, don't organise anything of this like.
Well, persist.
But we do, make no mistake, we will not go weak at the knees, mate. We're here to win, and we're here to protect Australia. That's the purpose. Do I like hassling politicians and that? No, it's not my game. I'd rather be home on tractor, you know that. But
well, it's also a matter that what I found is that the majority of politicians arrived in this place with good intentions. What happens is the party machine sweeps them up. And then they're afraid to cross the floor. They're afraid to really say what they think, and they just become rubber stamps. And I think it's easier for them to pretend there's not a scorpion under the rock than to pick up the rock. And so they run away from things. But Pauline and I and our two new senators, just want to go after that rock and dig the scorpion out.
And I love that. I think, you know, like we're running out of people like that. You know, there's more and more who come into the parliament here, and all of a sudden, as you said, they come in with great intentions and they're all bushy-tailed and bright-eyed,
yeah.
And then they get a good smack in the face right the minute they walk in the door. All right, now that's over. This is how you do it.
So, what do you want to talk about with the international health regulations?
So we're talking about the new health regulations that we've got stuck with since the 19th of July this year.
Mm-hmm.
Butler should have pulled us out of it because we were
Yep.
signed up to it. He had to withdraw.
Trump did pull them out.
Yes.
Yeah, well, he pulled out of the whole World Health Organization, which is our policy too. One Nation's had that policy for a while.
Well, that is brilliant because that's the end game. We need to be out of this. They're totally corrupt. The UN, the WHO, totally corrupt.
Corrupt, incompetent, inhuman, deceitful, you name it. And we go further, One Nation. Our policy now is officially to pull out of the United Nations.
Yes, absolutely.
Because what you just said about the World Health Organization, you can say about the United Nations.
And look, people don't understand that the United Nations, the World Health Organization, and the World Economic Forum are all the same thing.
Yep.
They're same crap, different shovel.
Well, it's not the World Health Organization. It's the United Nations World Health Organization.
Yep.
Who is part of the UN.
Yes, it is. So therefore,
but its biggest funders are America, Germany, and billionaires.
Yep.
And it's a tool for Big Pharma. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. No doubt.
And this is one of the big picture, the big ticket items we need to do, Malcolm, is to say there's nothing about them that is in your best interest. Nothing at all.
No, to the reverse way. It's in our worst interest.
Yep.
They're going to kill so many people if we let them keep running.
And we've seen so many now who have been they've been murdered by the stuff that they've done so far.
They've been working for Big Pharma. They're an outlet for Big Pharma. They're controlled by Big Pharma. They're controlled by Gates and Co. And they're an outlet for Big Pharma. They're out to kill people.
Yes, absolutely.
At the very least, you can say they don't give a damn if people die.
Mm. And we talk to a lot of medical experts who confirm just that. What you just said. They say this is what is happening. Mm-hmm. And they're lining up to do it again, but worse. So therefore, that's why we're talking to politicians here in Canberra at the minute to just say, well, what is your opinion on this? We've had some good responses so far, and hopefully we'll have a few more to do before we've finished here. We might even come back next sitting we'll do some more homework and mop up some of the dodgers and weavers who don't want to, because they need to be on the side of the corruption more so than on the side of the people. And this is what we need to do. We need to say, who are you working for? Are you working for the people here in Australia? Or are you working for some multinational billion-dollar corporate who has the worst interest for Australia? You tell us, where do you stand?
So, you're after my opinion on the international health regulations and the pandemic treaty or the pandemic agreement. It's had about 3 or 4 names because they've had to run.
Reincarnations.
It's very, very important to understand that the World Health Organization has got its tail between its legs. In, April 2022, I've got the member of staff that I introduced you to, and he knows a hell of a lot about it. Not only
doesn't he? What? Yeah, no, he's a good. He knows a lot of stuff about this. Yes.
But he's had a long history of dealing with the bureaucrats in this country, and he's got nothing but he despises them. They're not working in our interests; they're working in Big Pharma's interests, the health bureaucrats. So he came to me and said, "This is a real problem." April 2022. He got his facts, and then he said to me, "Let's make a video." And that video we made, I was the first one to come out, first politician to come out against the World Health Organization pandemic treaty as it was back then, and international health regulation amendments. Gosh, that's a mouthful. And then that video went around the world.
Yes.
And it came back to us with lots of views. Different people from different countries said, watch this. So that stirred people up. It awakened people. So I was the first politician in Australia to come out about the anti the pandemic treaty. But the real credit for stopping that must go to the African nations. They said to the World Health Organization, go to hell, because we're tired of Big Pharma experimenting with Africans and killing us.
Absolutely, yes, been doing it for years.
And the World Health Organization, people don't realize this, but it relies on consensus. It must come to a consensus, not a simple majority. So the World Health Organization could not get the pandemic treaty up, nor the international health regulations. So they had to pull it back. And then they had to water it down several iterations. And now the international health regulations, as I understand them, has bugger all difference compared to 2007. All the compulsions have been taken out of it. So, but I still oppose it, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. But the other thing is the pandemic treaty has now been changed to a pandemic agreement. It's gone through several names, and it's still floating out there for next year, I think. So
yes,
that's pretty much watered down too. So even if our country signs it, and it has, and on the 19th, as you pointed out, that doesn't mean we adopt it. It has to go through Parliament, or at the very least go through the JSCOT, which is the Joint Standing Committee on Treaties.
Yep.
Okay, that can tick certain things. I don't know if it could tick this one, but it may still have to go through Parliament. The reason why it's not a threat because it's been so watered down. The reason we oppose it is because if our country, Labor and Liberal, adopt it, then they can always say, mate, there's a new pandemic on the way. We want you to do things in accordance with World Health Organization instructions. They're not giving instructions, but that's what they'll say.
Yep.
They've already done that once. So we don't want to give them any excuse. So what we're saying is, do not adopt it.
Absolutely.
Do not put it through Parliament.
Absolutely.
We're saying pull out of the World Health Organization, pull out of the UN.
Yep.
And by the way, Trump has pulled out of the UN, pulled the United States out of the World Health Organization. He's now saying that they won't have anything to do with UNESCO,
yep,
which is a major entity in the UN. So he's on the way too.
Yep. Look, I think that we're seeing some people,
Italy as well.
Yes.
Out of the blue.
There's another couple of little countries too. I think of
Italy's not so little.
No, but other, yeah. But yes, the shift. We need to push this hard, and we need to keep the pedal on the metal here because these people, you give them an inch and they take a mile.
Yep.
And we know that so many people in the particularly the Labor and the Greens are 150% committed to this stuff. We listened to some of the speeches just recently in the House there, particularly with maiden speeches from some of the new MPs. And you listen to these people and you go, do you have any idea of the real world at all?
No.
I mean, no, I don't know. And it's so scary that these are the people who are going to be voting on legislation that affects our life in this country.
And that's the thing. Our constitution is set up so that the top rung of the constitution is the people. We're the people as a collective. We are not a monarchy. We are a constitutional monarchy, which means that the constitution is at the top of the tree, and the monarchs from England and the Governor General, their representative here, serve the constitution. They serve the people. And Queen Elizabeth did a marvellous job of that. They do not. A monarch dictates. A monarch controls. A monarch regulates. A constitutional monarchy, monarch serves the people. And I used to be totally against monarchy because I didn't like the fact that someone becomes a monarch because they're the son or daughter of someone else.
Yeah.
But I've now come to realise that our situation, we are effectively a republic already, but we've got the best of both worlds because we don't have some tired old clapped out politician elected as president. We've got an independent arbiter, if you like, and the king or queen can only make decisions in accordance with the reserved powers. It's very tightly controlled, and it's a wonderful, wonderful system. The problem with our constitution is not the constitution. The problem is that the people have stopped being in charge of this country. And that's because the media has told them, drip-fed them, and the politicians have drip-fed them. And instead of the government working for the people and being held accountable to the people, it's now the people working for the government and the government doing whatever it wants. And then the people are fooled into thinking Labor and Liberal are different when their policies are basically the same, both pushing a global agenda.
Well, I must say, Malcolm, on that note, I've had a crack at the Labor and the Greens. I have a crack at everybody, and you know that, you know me. And we've reached out to quite a number of Labor politicians to try and say, look, let's do an interview just like this one. So,
good luck.
That's what we're
finding. Have you got one?
No. And I've run into some of these Labor Party politicians in the corridors here, or in the cafe, or in the foyer, or whatever, and said to them about such and such and so and so. Oh yes. Well, get onto my office, and tell them Bob sent you, kind of thing. And that's the end of it. They kill it. So where we're trying to, say to the Labor politicians, we would just like to give you an opportunity. We're not mainstream media slimy liars and manipulators. We come in and say, right, what's your story? And we would like to give the Labor Party and the Greens an opportunity to say to the Australian people, this is what I believe. This is what I think is the situation. Not one of them will break ranks, get out from underneath the claw and the iron boot, and actually have the guts to speak. Now, we've been chasing Lisa Chesters, who's a MP, Labor Party MP in Bendigo, for a long time, and say, Lisa, we'd just like to do an interview with you about this stuff. Lisa Chester's, it's a case of where's Lisa? I mean, I think she's MIA. We did see her in Parliament. I'm not sure if it was a cardboard cutout, perhaps, maybe she wasn't actually there. But Lisa Chester's is running terrified, as is Anne Webster, who's she's a national MP around Mallee, which is, sort of our...
I met her for the first time the other day.
Well, good luck with that, because we can't seem to.
Just superficial conversation. That's not criticism of her. We hardly knew each other. So.
Yes, of course, and I accept that.
But, don't give up, because I'll tell you a story about when I was in your position and working as a volunteer. I held politicians accountable. I arranged meetings with them. I didn't get many, but I registered post letters with confirmation of receipt,
yes,
signing for receipt, thousands of dollars worth of letters, hundreds and hundreds of letters going out. And I wrote to one senator. I'll think about mentioning his name because I've got some admiration for him. Ian McDonald, okay?
Oh, right, yeah.
From Townsville. He's retired. He was the father of the Senate. He had the longest term in the Senate at that time. I wrote to him about, I'd done some research and found out he actually spoke in favour of UN Agenda 21 at a conference in Logan in 1994, 1998, somewhere, I can't remember which date it was. Anyway, I thought, the bastard. So I wrote him a letter, and I got a surprise. I got a reply from his office saying, of course you can meet him. Great. And then I tried to set up a date. But I don't think he replied to that. One of the office staff did. When it came to setting the date, he probably went, no. Notice I said probably. Okay? Eventually, though, they said, you can meet him. This is about 2 years later. And they said he'll be coming through Brisbane on his way to Townsville. Do you want to meet him then? So I did. And I am absolutely convinced, Wade, that he didn't know what Agenda 21 was.
Yep.
It's all sold as fluffy, nice stuff. How can you disagree with sustainability? You can't. But the trouble with UN sustainability is it's not sustainable without subsidies, which means it's not sustainable. It's all bullshit. It's smoke and mirrors. So I think he got sucked in, just like a lot of other Liberals and Nationals and all the Labor and the Greens, and he just committed to it and went along thinking he's doing the right thing, and then he woke up. Because I'll tell you some more stories about Ian, but he earned my respect, and he gave me some information from within the party, not confidential, it was all publicly accessible, which helped me a lot. So I think that with the sheer stuff, the volume that comes over us, you can't be on top of everything, and you can get conned by some things. We've made mistakes, but not so many. Yep. So what I'm saying is that most politicians are pretty decent at heart, but they come in here and they get corrupted by the party machine. Some are just bombarded by propaganda, just like the public is concerned about climate change, when there's no change at all in any climate indicator. It's all climate variability, just natural variability, no process change, just natural variability. So Ian's a good guy, and then he sat down next to me in St. Decimus one day, and I just finished quizzing the chief scientist and the Minister for Science, who was in Ian's party, Liberal Party. And he sat down next to me, and when I finished questioning, he said, shit, it's good having you in here. You go toe-to-toe with these bastards, and when they give you crap, you expose it. And
you know your stuff.
Yeah. So what Ian did then, he in that next round of questions, it was his turn. I always remember this. I watched it on TV. I had to leave, but I watched it in my room here in the monitor. Ian was asking the chief scientist questions, and he said, what would happen if we cut Australia's carbon dioxide output entirely? What would happen to the world's climate? And the chief scientist said, virtually nothing.
Yep.
And Ian McDonald was expecting to get some crap back. He didn't, he got that. And he said, well, what would happen if we reduced it 50%? Oh, hang on, you've just said nothing would happen. So he was caught.
Yes.
He caught them, because, so what I'm saying is that Ian did a bloody good job in many, many ways, but he was conned by some things because of party structure and the party position.
Yep.
But he woke up and he became someone who called out the climate scam in the parliament. one of the very few Liberals who did.
Well, that is, that's quite amazing, really. That, but this is what we're about, Malcolm, is to try and just talk to politicians. We're not here to cut their throat or anything. We're just here to say, tell us what you know about this, and that way that might prompt some of these politicians to say, well, hang on, what is this about, really, in real terms? Because we've done many protest convoys and stuff with Billboard Battalion. I mean, once again, as you're aware, and quite often we'll get someone come along and say, get stuffed, you're a bunch of conspiracy nutters, blah blah blah, and they sit there and talk to them for 5 minutes, and at the end of the day, they go, I never knew this stuff. And I walk off going, look, good luck, and we hope you do the best, you know what I mean? And thanks for doing what you're doing.
I'm going to have to get going pretty soon because I've got motions to go.
Yep, no, absolutely. All right, mate, well, look, thank you.
Thank you, and keep doing what you're doing, mate.
We will not stop, mate, we will not stop, and you too. And
there'll be something coming out on Sunday. I'll tell you more about it next week.
Beautiful, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up with Pauline and the other two.
Yeah, well, let's go around together now, and we'll visit Pauline's office and just introduce you.
That'd be fantastic.
James Ashby.
Yes, beautiful.
You know him? He's very good.
Yes.
So he'll maybe arrange something if it suits.
That would be fantastic, because I mean, you've got to push what you've got to push, and as I always say, Malcolm, last thing, if you've got politicians who are sticking their neck out, you got to support them. You got to give them backup. You got to let them know that what they're doing is actually appreciated by the people, and people are prepared to step up and say, look, what can we do to help?